A smoking ban is a public policy that includes criminal laws and health regulations that prohibit smoking in certain public places and workspaces. There are varying definitions of smoking employed in this legislation. The strictest definitions define smoking as being the inhalation of any tobacco substance, while the loosest define smoking as possessing any lit tobacco product.
World Shrimp Farming 1992 pegged Japan's production of farmed shrimp at 3,000 metric tons, live weight, from 150 semi-intensive and intensive farms with 400 hectares of ponds. In the Kagoshima area of Kyushu, farmers used large, round, land-based tanks and produced 15,000 to 20,000 kilograms per hectare. Later, semi-intensive farms appeared on Japan's southern islands, Okinawa, for example.
Another administration option is to bake marijuana at a relatively low temperature to kill any dangerous microorganisms and then allow the patient to eat it or drink it. Both of these methods of administration make smoking the drug unnecessary. However, criticism of medical marijuana has also been raised because as a natural plant, it cannot be patented and marketed by pharmaceutical companies and is unlikely to win widespread medical acceptance. Trade unions originated in Europe during the Industrial Revolution. Because of the machinery that had become commonplace, skilled labor became less in demand, so employers had nearly all of the bargaining power. Employers mistreated the workers and paid them too little for the work they did. Trade unions were organized that would help in the improvement of working conditions.
Unlike the United Kingdom, which has taken a relatively restrictive approach to the possession of arms, the United States has taken a more lenient approach. In the United States, 3 modules have evolved regarding the interpretation of the meaning of the right to bear and keep arms as delineated in the Second Amendment.
Free trade is an economic policy under which the government does not interfere with trade. No tariffs are applied to imports or exports, and people are allowed to trade goods and services as they please. Supply and demand dictate the prices for which goods and services sell and are the only factors that determine how resources are allocated in society.
The border itself between Mexico and the United States is fraught with a mix of urban and desert terrain and spans over 1,900 miles. Both the uninhabited areas of the border and urban areas are where the most drug trafficking and illegal crossings take place. Crime is prevalent in urban cities like El Paso, Texas, and San Diego, California.
Taking soundings in the deep ocean was, and long remained, a laborious and time-consuming task, and knowledge of the undersea topography lagged considerably behind our acquaintance with the landscape of the near side of the Moon. Over the years, methods were improved.
Global warming is defined as an increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. This trend began in the middle of the 20th century and is one of the major environmental concerns of scientists and government officials worldwide. The changes in temperature result mostly from the effect of increased concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere.
The principle of cooperation is one of the things that sets conversation apart from similar activities such as lectures, debates, arguments and meetings. Other qualities which help to define conversation include the equal distribution of speaker rights, mutual respect among speakers, spontaneity and informality, and a non-business-like environment.
The American executive, unlike the British, has no connection with the legislature, and this lack of coordination between executive and legislature is one of the distinctive features of the American federal government. The Constitution guarded against executive control by disqualifying federal officials, whether civil or military, from membership in Congress.
In the photo, the wildcat's huge paws are clamped onto the side of the white safari jeep in which Chapel was a passenger. Almost as tall as the jeep on her hind legs, she appears to be forcing her muzzle into the back window.
teamwork taps into one of the basic drivers of human behavior. The principle of social proof is so pervasive that we don't even recognize it, says Cialdini. If your project is being resisted, for example, by a group of veteran employees, ask another old-timer to speak up for it. Cialdini is not alone in advocating this strategy.
The Parnassus has been moored in Portuguese waters since 2017 due to disputes with shipping firms, fuel providers and Lisbon's Port Authority. Lisbon's Maritime Court ruled in August 2018 to take possession of the Parnassus, which had been under BSM management.
The numbers on US student debt, after all, are truly staggering. The average 2015 US university graduate who took out loans to help pay for tuition enters the workforce with $35,000 in student debt.
This finding is understandable in certain cases in spite of its high significance. That is because the energy efficiency of building operation just represents a single aspect of sustainability.
In the summer of 2006, Europe experienced drought on an unprecedented scale. On the Rhine, Europe's busiest waterway, low waters forced ships to carry less cargo and make up for lost revenue with surcharges of up to 50%. In Italy, the Agricultural Confederation announced that the grape harvest was the lowest in 2 decades. In the summer of 2006, Europe experienced drought on an unprecedented scale. On the Rhine, Europe's busiest waterway, low waters forced ships to carry less cargo and make up for lost revenue with surcharges of up to 50%. In Italy, the Agricultural Confederation announced that the grape harvest was the lowest in 2 decades.
It's projected that, over the next 100 years, temperatures on Earth could rise an average of nearly 5 degrees Celsius. While some animals might be able to migrate north to escape the brunt of the heat, plants can't uproot themselves quite so easily. Researchers wondered whether the creatures that disperse plant seeds might be able to help. In order to achieve the free flow of goods and services, with work and capital between the member countries, they needed to establish mutual politics in areas as diverse as agriculture, transport, and working conditions. When they had agreed on these policies, they became legal. Now, though, the EU is concerned with a far wider range of issues.
In this multimodal approach, description, illustration, and narration are treated together in the reflective writing process. Comparison and contrast, classification, and cause and effect are combined in analytical writing, and definition and persuasion encompass position writing. Contemporary and suited to an active learning environment, the text promotes the writing process, group work, and increased use of technology.
Researchers from 18 countries analyzed honeybee, other bee and non-bee insect visits to 480 fields of 17 different crop types on 5 continents. They found that total pollination services provided were the same for honeybees and non-bee insects, 38%, with around a quarter of services, 23%, provided by other bees.
Although introvert personality types differ from one another on various grounds, the major difference between the two is their source of rejuvenation. While for extroverts, this may mean interaction or excursions with friends and family, the same may mean reading a book or listening to music.
At random times throughout the day, the program asked some 2,200 participants what they were doing, what they were thinking about, and how they felt. It turns out that people spend nearly half their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're doing. And that whether and where their thoughts tend to stray is a better predictor of their feelings than what they're actually up to.
Global Management is a program specially designed to equip you with the knowledge and skills required to become an effective leader in diverse business contexts and varied intercultural settings. The program acknowledges that contemporary markets are increasingly complex and dynamic in terms of culture and demand, that information and communication are crucial for success, and that social responsibility for sustainability and corporate entrepreneurship are crucial.